place of blessing. Make your house like the house of Ahlul Bayt, where the angels would come and go. How can you do that, somebody may ask? We have numerous traditions which say what? When a group of people sit and speak of the fadail of Ahlul Bayt, the angels descend from the heaven to join them. When the angels return to heaven, they will have this beautiful smell. So the other angels will say to them, what's this beautiful smell? Where did it come from? They say, we was on earth in a gathering where people were speaking of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salamullah. So the other angels will be like, where are these people? We need to go down and get some of this tabarruk. They say it's too late, they have dispersed. You can do that in your own house. Hold a majlis for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salamullah. If you've got nobody to recite for you, I'm sure every one of us knows at least 3 things about Ahlul Bayt alayhim salamullah. You speak about Ahlul Bayt in your house. On this point, I want to mention one thing. There's a story which goes that there was a group of people, youths in the West. So they said, look, we've left the Islamic countries and we've come here to pursue studies. Now we miss that atmosphere of Muharram, and Muharram is coming up in a few days' time. So what should we do? We don't know anybody to recite for us. So they said, well, today, the 1st of Muharram, it will be in my house and I shall do the recitation. Tomorrow it will be in your house. The following day it will be in your house, and then so on and so forth. So one day after the other, they began to join a group of 6 or 7 students. Every day they would have a majlis for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salamullah, and they would give out tabarruk. On the last day of Muharram, the first person who initially came up with the idea passed away. So when they took him to the hospital, they said, well, this guy is healthy. He's 19, 20. We don't know what was the cause of this heart attack. He died in his sleep. So they examined and they couldn't find the reason. They said, we don't know. Maybe he was under what? Stress. One of the people who was part of this group was his best friend, who was really deeply hurt by this loss. So he says, I had a dream on that very night and I saw my friend. So I ran to him and I hugged him and I was crying. And I said, why did you leave me? He said, because my time arrived and I had to leave. He says, okay, tell me something. Tell me what happens after death. He said, I can't tell you. Because that is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I tell you now, you have an advantage above everybody else. So that's something I cannot reveal to you. So he says, I ask you by Fatima Zahra alayha salamullah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So he says, I ask you by Fatima Zahra, tell me something we thought we knew in the dunya that we didn't know in the akhirah. He says, okay, I'll tell you one thing. He said, what is it? He said, when I died, Imam Hussein alayhi salamullah came to me. We thought we knew Imam Hussein in the dunya. Wallah, we didn't even know a drop of Imam Hussein alayhi salamullah. We knew nothing about Imam Hussein alayhi salamullah. How great is this personality? Are you going to stop recording? Yeah. So this is one person who, by gathering people in his house, received the blessing of what? Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salamullah visiting him. Not only that, he gained more knowledge. And he gained the knowledge what? That we didn't know nothing about Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salamullah. Amongst the most revered values in Islam is brotherhood and sisterhood. The first thing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam did when he came to Medina is he made a pact of brotherhood between every 2 individuals. Somebody might ask why. Why is it so important to have this brotherhood? Because here Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is trying to say to you that regardless whether you're black or white, regardless of age, regardless of cultural values, regardless of social class, regardless of economical factors. In the end of the day, you are all brothers and sisters. You are all the children of Adam and Eve, and the only difference between you is what? Is Iman. You find some people, sometimes when you sit with them, they will judge you on class. And then when you're equal with them on class, they will judge you on what? On your economical standards. So for example, you're in university and you've got 20 people studying the same subject. So what? We're all on the same level here now. All 20 of us are studying science. So we all have the same knowledge. But one of them will always turn around to the other one, and we see that there's groups which don't mingle. Why? Even though they all know the same things, so realistically they're from the same class, but they don't mingle with each other. Why? Because this group here is rich and this group here is poor. So they will look down on you. You might say to them, well, I know this formula better than you. He says, yeah, well, I'm richer than you. My clothing is better than yours. I go to better places than you. I eat better than you. So they will look down upon you from that aspect. Or you might have people who, a group of businessmen might join up and they all have the same amount of money. They will judge each other on what? On their level of knowledge. They will say, yeah, well, I got 20 billion in my account and you've got 20 billion in your account, but I've got a PhD and you just inherited everything from your father. So again, there was a judgment made on what? On something other than the individual before me. Islam says what? You shouldn't make these judgments, and if you should make these judgments, then it should be on one aspect only. How close you are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taqwa. That's the only thing Islam takes into account. Faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How much do you as an individual fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How much do you respect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How much do you love Him? And most of all, how much do you obey Him? It's the only thing that should matter in the equation. The brother of Imam Hussein alayhi salamullah was Muslim ibn Aqil. Tonight is the night of Muslim ibn Aqil alayhi salamullah. So I'd like to dedicate the last 15 or 20 minutes speaking about this immaculate and truly amazing personality who was Muslim ibn Aqil alayhi salamullah. He's the one who Imam Hussein alayhi salamullah trusted him to deliver his message to the people of Kufa. And to do what? To take allegiance on behalf of Imam Hussein alayhi salamullah. When I have a country, I send my ambassador. What is my ambassador? My ambassador is the person who represents everything which I stand for. So Muslim bin Aqil represented without a doubt everything which Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salamullah stood for. The people of Kufa sent hundreds and thousands of letters to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salamullah, saying to him what? High time has come that we find someone who leads us in our what? In our religious aspects. We need you, Ya Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salamullah, to guide us. Why? Because those people who have taken the reins of Khilafah have played about with it. And they have oppressed us. And in the time of your grandfather, nobody was oppressed. So we want you to come and bring this time again. So Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salamullah replies to them saying what? You betrayed my father. And you betrayed my brother. So I will send forward to you my brother Muslim bin Aqil as my ambassador. If you are truly faithful, you will swear allegiance to him, and he will send me back news of what? Of your loyalty. And if I find that your actions are truthful to your words in these letters, in your correspondence, then I, insha'Allah, in a few days will be amongst you.